Hello, in this video I'd like to talk about specificity, specificity expressed in four parts. So like 0, 0, 0, 0, and also specificity is determined by the components of the selector. Say if the selector has ID, so this would correspond to value 1 in the second position. If the selector has class or attribute selection, which is attribute selector or pseudo class, the value is added in the third position. And if the selector is based on element, if it's an element selector, and also if it has pseudo element, so each element or each pseudo element, it takes last position. Also, values are sorted from left to right, so it means that any selector that that starts that has value at the front, on the first value in the left position, this one, so will outweigh or will win over the other selectors that doesn't have value in this first position. Say based on this, we have out of these three, the highest specificity has ID selector, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 positions, and the value is here, so it beats this one, and it also beats this one. So for example, this one will beat this one, so it's from left to right. So okay, so I just wanted to give you some examples here. So what we have is, say for example, so we put h1, say we do color purple, color purple, or body h1, say color blue. Color blue. So this specificity would be counted as, because this h1, this is the element selector, its specificity will be as follows. So I just put it in the comments. So it's going to be 0, 0, 0, and then 1. Because this one has only one element selector, and this one has two element selectors, body and h1, so of this one specificity would be 2. So in this case, this has the higher specificity than this one. So based on this, this h1 should be blue. Okay, let's check. Okay, this is h1 is blue. Or the second example would be, say, for h2, say for example we put h2 and then give it a class. Oops, sorry. h2 class specific. I already have it there. Class specific. And just let's make it the second one. This one, the first rule set would be just h2 and just color yellow. Okay, so this one has specificity same as this one, h2. However, this declaration will have the specificity of 1, 1. So 1 in this position it gains because of the part of the selector is class attribute selector. So it targets the class specific. And then h2 is the element, so it targets element h2. So because of h2 its position in the last position it's 1, and then because of specific class in the third position it's 1. So based on this, the h2 should be red. And again, it's read from left to right. So this one has a higher specificity than this one. Okay, let's check. Yeah, so level 2 heading red. Level 2 heading red. So what else I have? I have some examples here too. So just examples of specificity. This one is h1. So just based on this, it's just as I mentioned also before, it's the specificity is 1, but based on this, its specificity would be 2. So this one beats this one. So out of these two rules, this one has specificity 1 in the third position from the left. However, this one has 1 in the second position from the left, which outweighs this one. So this ID selection would be more specific than this one. Okay, what's also interesting about this is specificity and declarations. So let's remove all those rules. Just going to delete them. Okay, so specificity and declarations. In specificity and declarations, the browser breaks down selector and values. So how it works is, for example, I'm just gonna remove everything from here. So if we have a very simple rule, say for example h1, and then we can color long green, for example, long green background gray. So this rule actually, when browser parses the CSS style sheet, what happens to this rule is it gets broken down into actually two parts. So it gets broken down like this. So it's going to be h1, so it breaks down for each value, and it's going to be h1 this. So that's how it gets broken down. And also same happens with the group selectors. Say for example, if we have, and also back to this one, so the specificity of this one would be, so it breaks down the whole declaration, and then it assigns specificity to each property, like property value pair, this property value pair, this and this. Say in this example, the specificity of this property value pair would be just 1 in the last position. So it's like a 1 1 1 and then 1. So the same would be for this one. So color has specificity of this one, like 1, and then background. And same principle is applied to group selectors. So for example, if we have a group selector like this, I'm just gonna copy and paste here because I already have it here. Group selector as h1, h2, and then specific. So it gets broken down also by each component. So what we have h1, and then it breaks down color red, so it's color red, and then h1 background gray. Okay, so with this one, so it's again it assigns the specificity to these properties. Okay, and same happens to h2 to this part. Okay. So based on this, some declarations they might conflict. There might be some conflict between some declarations when they target the same element. So let's take the example. I'm just gonna remove this, and put the copy and paste the markups that I have. So we have here h1 p with the class specific, then just p without any class, and then h1, and then p, and then class specific. Okay, so based on this, let's give some style. So the style we put as, say for example, we put h1, p. So it's so this one is a adjacent sibling selector. So say for example we put color green, font style italic, okay. So we also target P with just the element selector. So let's give it color gray, background white. White, font style, say normal. Just gonna copy and paste this one. Font style normal, and we do some styling via class as well. So it's gonna be specific. Say specific, we put color gray, background, I don't know, yellow. Okay, so based on this, let's try to calculate that specificity. The first declaration would have, just gonna because of two element selectors, it's gonna be 0, 0, 0, 2. This one is gonna be 0, 0, 0, 1, only one element selector, and this one going to be 1, in the third position. So based on this, this selector is the most this declaration with this selector is the most specific. But what happens is there is a, because it has like say for example the background property, which one will win, this background or this background, or font style, for example, H1P italic or P normal. So those are some conflicts when the same element is targeted. So let's see here. So for example, H1P, it targets only this declaration targets this paragraph because it's an adjacent sibling selector. So it targets the first P that follows the parent that follows H1 that shares the same parent with this P. So same parent is body, and then H1, and then P. So based on this, the background should be yellow. Let's check. Yeah, that's the first P. And second level 1 heading. Let's check here. Actually, H1 plus P, the conflict would be in the font style. Okay, so H1 plus P is going to be font style italic and then font style normal. So H1 plus P, this one, because the specific it doesn't have font style, so out of this one, H1 plus P, and also like P, the font style normal. So let's check. So the font style is italic. Okay, so because this has the higher higher specificity than this one. So because it broken, say for example, this rule and this rule, it's broken down as I mentioned before, like each part of the selector is broken down and assigned that specificity. So font style normal would be specificity 1, but font style italic would be specificity 2. So based on this, the font style of P2, sorry, the font style of P, like after H1 plus P, it's more specific. So the font style is italic and not normal. Okay, so same applies to background properties here. Say background property is in this declaration P, and then background property here yellow in specific. So again, it gets broken down into like properties, and because this one has higher specific, this whole declaration has higher specificity than this one. So the background where the specific class is yellow. So yeah, so yellow is the first P after H1 and the last P. So the first P after H1 and the last P. But the white background is the rest. So because of the lower specificity than this one. So anyway, I hope this was helpful, and sorry for some maybe confusion in the explanation, but because some parts of this was new to me, especially that I didn't know that the specificity actually gets broken down also by property value, and then that's how it gets broken down, and the browser assigns each property value pair the specificity as I showed before. Thank you for watching.